Okay, I'm trying to record down here and I can hear you walking. Well, yep, okay, thanks, bye. So, you know how you be trying to do your stuff, trying to stay on task and everything, and then it seemed like right when you make up your mind, it'd be some that come. Today, it was Marlon's footsteps upstairs because we got wood floors upstairs, so the sound traveling into the basement while I'm trying to do this video because I'm back on YouTube for the first time in a long time this week, and it's just exceptionally frustrating when you're trying to just do all the things. Typically, okay, get focused. Okay, so typically I record audio only, and you can hear me like on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify. And so you don't have to do, you know what I'm saying, get yourself together, nothing. You could just kind of not roll out of bed, but it's a lot easier than coming on video. And so I'm just like, too much noise, as you can see by that little clip that I played, has nothing to do, nothing to do with what I'm going to talk about this week. Or maybe it does actually, now that I think about it. Today's title, How I Am Getting Out of My Own Way. A lot of times we find ourselves in ruts, and one of the things that I notice when you find yourself in a rut, because I'm pulling myself currently out of one, is that it's so easy to put the blame on other people and outside forces that are contributing to it. Now, I'm not going to say that you don't have a bad day or anything like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But we can conjure up in our own minds sometimes it's everybody else's reason why we not where we want to be, where we feel like we're supposed to be, etc. And I was just like, I'm tired of feeling like this. So today's topic is I'm going to share with you some things of what I'm doing about how I'm getting out of my own way. I hope you stay tuned for that. But first, if you're new here, oh my God, I didn't even introduce myself. Hello, beautiful, and welcome back to another episode of Beautiful I Am Colored. My name is Evelyn, and I am the author of the book titled Beautiful I Am Colored, which is still available for purchase on my website exclusively at beautifuliamcolored.com. You can also read a few blogs that I've posted in recent years, which is so funny for me to say now. And also get to learn a little bit more about me and my platforms. Anyhow, you may have guessed, not even guessed, but you may know by now that I am relaunching the video aspects of my podcast. So this is the first week. Today is November 12th, Sunday. I typically post on Sundays. And so one time per week, this is where you can find me. Okay, now that my intro is out the way, we always start each week with a segment I call shout outs and thank yous. And so one of the things that's very important to me and a part of my platform is to always show gratitude for even the simplest of things. So this segment, shout outs and thank yous, is a moment where I shout out a person, place, thing, or idea of something I'm grateful for. And I'm looking over here because I got a couple of different screens up, so I need to look at my notes. But this week, shout out and thank you goes to one of my sisters. I have two. So I was talking to Mel this week, and I'm grateful for her because she really did help bring me back to center and had a moment of humility. Because here I was, as I told you, I've been fighting kind of a rut for the past maybe 2 months or so, and I've been candid about that process. If you go and listen to the audio of the weekly podcast that I do on the other platforms, but that's neither here nor there. When talking to my sister, I was just catching her up with where I am, and having her catch me up with where she is and where the girls are, my nieces. And, one of the things that she brought to light is that, man, it's a lot of people struggling right now. A lot. And I ain't even talking about the major national issues in some cities like Denver and Chicago, to where you have homeless issues compounded with migrant issues. I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about without even considering that people are just really going through. And one of the things that she was talking about is in Memphis, which is my hometown, um, the housing is far exceeding what folks are getting paid. And people keep increasing rental amounts and stuff, which causing a domino effect of more and more people moving back home with their parents, so that they can, financially still support themselves. And I felt convicted when she shared it with me because here I am around here being honestly real petty acting. Here I am, I got a roof over my head, a nice roof. I ain't even gonna lie, gainfully employed. I got a car. Is it the car I want? Not necessarily, but it's paid for. I ain't got no problem paying the insurance or paying for maintenance. My kids are healthy. Um, like I have a life partner in Marlon, we'll be celebrating 29, 28, 29. Oh my God, I think it's 29 coming up. Anyways, let me stay on track. So I have a husband that who loves me. I love him. Like genuinely happily married, and I am literally. I was in a state of frustration because of all the things, and I'm saying things because for me they were material, as petty as that is, um, that I don't have. And I was just really grateful to talk to her because it helped to bring me back. And especially during this season, right? And not necessarily Thanksgiving, but Christmas in particular, to where parents, family members, friends can feel a certain kind of way because they can't afford to get a lot of the things, and I'm using that intentionally, that brings some of us temporary satisfaction. And I think the important key word here is temporary. It's temporary satisfaction. Like none of these things actually bring you joy that's lasting or sustainable, and that provides you with consistent, what's the word I'm looking for? Consistent feelings of contentment. So that concludes shout outs and thank yous for this week. And now getting right into this week's message of how I'm getting myself, how I'm getting out of my own way. Excuse me. Um, One of the things I'm doing, and this is no surprise to loyal listeners on the podcast, the audio podcast version, that is, and that is, working out, right? Like stress. It's honestly at this point it's just a stress reliever for me because people ain't losing weight because people wasn't pushing their plate back like they need to be. So that's a whole nother story. Toned and stuff, but not necessarily losing. Anyhow, working out is one of those things. The other thing that really helps, like, to get me grounded is making sure that I start and end my day with positive things instead of negative things. And I will tell you, because of some of the local matters here in Denver, the past 2 to 3 weeks, I have found myself to be more and more, how can I say, not necessarily fully participating, but involved in some of the issues in my community. And the conversations throughout the day are around that, and news articles and stuff. And the funny part about it is the more things you focus on, the more that thing is illuminated and driving you. It can drive you stir crazy, and then not only that, you all know, or I think by now, that I work full time, and my job can be stressful. Um, because of the nature of my job. And so all day, 40 plus hours a week, you're dealing with stress at work. Plus, if you have any issues in your neighborhood, let's say, plus the regular stuff that happens in the day in and day out, and you can just find yourself just on the path of winding down. This is why it's so important to start your day off with positive things. I actually wrote about this in a blog post I posted early this morning. And one of the people I like a lot, is Jim Rohn and Earl Nightingale. And I like them because they just get straight to the point about, at the end of the day, it's you. Always is you. There are few circumstances or few scenarios where it's not going to be you who is the culprit as to why you're having the day you're having, why the outcomes are the way that they are, is due to the decisions you make. And as a result, you get blessed with those types of consequences. And sometimes if they're negative, I'm not saying that life don't happen to us all, because absolutely life happens to us all. But at the end of the day, we are in control of just self. And so, anyway, jumping back into why I like these particular speakers is because they take the pressure off of projecting onto other people. Because when you project onto other people the reason why you're a certain way, then what it does is absolves you of any type of power to change, right? For example, if I'm always blaming Marlon is my husband. If I'm always blaming Marlon for why I don't have this or why I don't have that, it absolves me of any type of responsibility that I have within the relationship. At scale, or if you scale that up to any area of your life or apply that to any area of your life, the same principle is true. And so at the end of the day, the onus is on you to make a difference and on you to stand up for what you know to be doing. I'll give you a good example, because on this podcast right here,